Now when setting up your tables, there are a few things you want to take care of. One is you want to give a title to your table, and by default you'll see a title here like Table 1. You can click on it to select it and you can type something new. If you don't see a title for a table, in the Format sidebar here you want to go to Table and there's a checkbox for table name. So if you truly don't want a title for the table, you can remove it. Now in addition to the title, there's also the header row, which gives a cell at the top of each column for you to use to label that column, and also a header column here that gives a single cell to the left of each row. Typically you would put things in here to name the information that's in them. So for instance, you could put things like date, description, category, whatever it's going to be that would make sense for describing what's going to be in that column. For the left side here, sometimes you don't have this at all, but sometimes you use this for an identifier for each row. So it could be an ID, could be a date, could be a person's name, that kind of thing. And you could, put it up here like that, or ID like that. Now over here in the Format Table sidebar, you can specify the number of headers you've got. So for instance, I could add another row there that's a header. It's rare that you use that. Most of the time 1 is exactly what you want. Very often though, sometimes you get rid of the header over there on the left. These are useful because as you scroll, you can see I can scroll over here and the header column to the left stays there. And the same thing when I scroll up. So you could see what's there very easily. I can see this is date, description, category, price, no matter how far I scroll down. And if I scroll over, if there's an ID for each record here or a name or something, I'll still see it as well as the other information. But it's also useful for naming the cell. So before we talked about how you could have a cell that would say C2, but as we'll see later on using formulas, this cell is now also known as the description for Gary, taking the information from the headers that correspond to this cell. You'll also be able to add footers, and we're going to look at those in a future lesson.